Yeah, and so exiting the matrix is good if we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Hiya.
It's like a game.
Exactly, Joe. It's our first time all together. Hiya, what's new with you?
Hello.
Of our world. Joe, Amber, and Sheena Alexandra from the Freedom Collective Foundation. We are
Thank
finally
you.
all collaborating together. And thank you, Joe, for it out to all those extra people, and Amber for providing the insight of the back end of the association, all the legal and lawful things we need to do to be safe and free in our world. Sheena, thanks for bringing us. Thanks for introducing me to these wonderful people.
Well, Michael, thank you for being you. I mean, you've introduced me to so many wonderful people, and I think it's the power of the mastermind that we are experiencing right now. Because every time we come together, I know we come together every single day almost, but I get so excited and so amped, and we have so many great ideas, and we're moving mountains at the moment. So I'm so excited to be connected with Amber. I mean, I had a little bit of conversation with Amber in Australia. Same with Joe. I've had a long conversation with Joe. We had years of friendship, but it just seems like divine timing is here. Same with you, Michael. We've been friends for several years, but it's just now that we're all coming together, and the puzzle is coming together, and everything's popping, and it feels amazing. So thank you for bringing us together.
And I want to thank everybody for the work they're doing. There's so much work to be done, and it's amazing, the amount of people out there trying to get to the truth and trying to exit this matrix that we're stuck in. And so I just appreciate everybody's work, and I think everybody that has put in effort out there deserves a lot of attention and all that. So
Yes.
And I'm needing a big coffee.
I took my vitamin B12 pill so that I have brain power
to get it all accomplished.
Michael, do you want to introduce the two new people that's come on? Awesome.
Welcoming Gertrude and Orit. Gertrude has been co-hosting with me for several weeks. She's extremely wise and experienced, as is Orit. I'm just dazzled by the wisdoms from each of them, and I had a name. Gertrude, do you mind introducing yourself instead?
Oh, of course. Hi, my name is Gertrude, and I've already exited the matrix. I'm just looking for a way to basically function within it now. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm really here, and I'm interested, because when I took off and sailed down to Mexico and lived there in Baja, it was completely off the grid and out of any kind of matrix. I was just going with the tides and the moon and the stars and navigating my boat around the Sea of Cortez. But I would like to be able to have a business and function in the United States without so many regulations and restrictions. So I'm here to figure that out. That's why I'm back, and that's what I'm all about right now.
That's wonderful. It's nice to meet you, Gertrude. Michael has said so many things about you, so many nice things, and I think we've wanted to get together for a few weeks now, but I think, like I said before, it's divine timing. And how exciting that you were in Mexico sailing. That's exciting. I can imagine feeling a bit low and, wanting to escape after that experience. So we'll get there.
Yeah, I did escape, and I'm ready to come back. And it's sort of like a birthing and rebirthing process. I find that travel is a very important way to gain perspective. And when I was in Mexico, I looked for a place where I could do business, but I didn't feel that I had nearly as many rights as I do in the United States, in Mexico. So I want to also expand on my rights to business in a way that isn't so prohibitive, because when it comes to, I've already created some products to put in farmers markets, and it's very prohibitive, all of the regulations.
Can
if
you
it's just a normal
share?
farmers market. So
Can you
I'm
share a few of
looking
those
for different ways.
obstacles that you're like, what kind of freedom is it that you're looking for that that you found in Mexico that you can't? Yeah, like, because you're close to the the consumer laws and regulations and the tyranny and
Right. Well, I mean, it's sort of a catch-22, because I would have to perhaps get a citizenship status in Mexico to have more rights there. But I didn't want to go through that, because even then, when you're not born there, owning property is kind of dicey. So once you own property here in the United States, if you were born here, you have a lot more rights. But I'm looking for ways to circumnavigate around the rules and regulations for food processing, and simple a mixture of
I'm having a lot of audio issues.
so like you put, like, say fish, I do oftentimes sail. I put out a couple of hand lines and troll them as I'm cruising along, and so I would catch a nice fresh fish, and I put together these like specific herb mixes. And if I just put like a little bit of sea salt in that herb mix, then I cannot sell it at a farmer's market just because of that one ingredient. Then that takes me away from being able to sell it without having. I would have to have a specific license for that. And there's just that's just how it is. I mean, there's so many different categories, and you either fit into a particular category or you don't, depending on how many licenses and what kind of licenses you have.
Thank you for sharing.
I know that there's another. Yeah, and there's another way to do it. The Amish have been doing it for a really long time, as far as alternatives to selling food or products. And so I'm really interested in PMAs. I'm interested in lands. I'm interested in national status. So I'm exploring all of these things. I haven't exactly done a ton of research, but I've done a little bit, and I'm not 100% convinced, but I want to dive deeper, and I do want to do the national workshop. I'm definitely interested in that. So I'm hoping to find out enough information to be able to go ahead and move forward with that without any major risks, because I understand that there are always risks in everything, and sometimes you have to give something up to gain something. But I'm interested in how it is I'd be giving up and what I would be gaining. Is everybody back?
Yeah.
Looks like you guys flickered out for a minute.
We're in and out. Those are great concerns, Gertrude. And I'm hoping that Erin can join us since Daniel's not able to talk on national status.
Is everyone hearing me okay?
Yes.
I heard you.
Can you hear us all right?
Yep. I can. Yep. I just noticed like everybody disappeared on the screen for a minute.
Weird.
Yeah, and you were cut off a little bit too.
You're going to like Dan. Dan is a great storyteller. He knows this story very well. It's going to be a very entertaining workshop. You're going to go away feeling more confident because this is really just knowledge. We're just sharing knowledge. And it's okay that you haven't studied this because we're all just catching up now. But that's what Dan has done. He's done all the hard work so we don't have to. I really love that term, but a lot of people say that term, but it is true. And not only has Dan done the work, but he's now presented it in a theatrical way that it's really interesting. And I mean, I've heard 2 compliments about him so far. And I even said, yeah, Dan, this is the first time I've actually clearly understood what is actually going on here. And so we got a great guy telling this story, and you're going to leave that workshop confident, which is the one thing we need as we navigate through this, because it's one thing changing your status and learning the law, but it's standing in your rights when, push comes to shove. And we're going to do that all together. It gets easier and easier. But the first step is the visualization of what the infiltration is. And we couldn't have asked for a better teacher than Dan. So anybody that's out there that wants to learn about this, even if you're not, even if you're not local, please pay it. I don't want to say pay attention. That's kind of a harsh word, but enjoy and be interested in this, because this is where our freedom is. It's learning the law and standing in our rights to be here on the planet and using the instruments that Amber has. Once you learn Dan's stuff, then Amber comes in, and I mean, Amber really puts the components together to really be able to, on paper, function in the private. And like Dan, Amber is an amazing storyteller. Amber, do you want to come on and share what you know about this side of the law, the private side of the law? Or do you want me to still continue to talk?
Maybe better.
No, you may be muted, Amber. You might be muted.
Well, I'll just talk about.
Yeah, I mean, while you're waiting, why don't you talk about your website and stuff so people know, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, I let's just talk a little bit about Amber. I mean, Amber has got such a deep history and background in numbers. She's a high-end numbers person, so she has already been involved in people's assets. She's already helped people through their finances, and this is very similar to a CPA role where you are hiring somebody to fast track the paperwork that you need to do, because this is really only paperwork for the processing point, but then there's the learning and the standing in the truth. But so that's what Amber does, is she kind of fast tracks this and pushes you through the process. And then once you're through, life gets so much easier. And I've been living in the private now for over 18 months, almost 2 years now, and life just gets better and better by the day. So, Amber has been well trained as well. The person that's trained Amber is at the top of the pecking order when it comes to understanding this situation. So yes, we can, Amber. So we were just saying that you have been trained by the very best by understanding the situation and learning how to get out of this mess. So take it away.
Yeah, I help people with take their business and interaction activities with other people and other business entities into the private domain. And it's a matter of setting up the foundational documents so that they have a faith-based organization instead of a business. Do you have any specific questions?
I do.
Okay.
So initially, I thought of doing the Daniel's process first and then jumping into PMA. But for some reason, my gut feeling now is that it should be reversed, that it will be easier to create a PMA first and then go private. What is your take on that?
I agree with you because you're taking your business activities into the private and not yourself as an individual. So it's like you get to have a feel for what it means to be in the private domain.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Amber, do you want to talk just a little bit about the process? You know, this is very, very new for the people.
Excuse me 1 second. Someone has a
Yeah,
background.
we got a bad
Can they
backgrounds. Yes, please.
Yeah, can they mute themselves? Whoever has someone talking in the background, can you mute yourself?
Okay, I
Thank
think
you.
it's my son, I think.
No, it's a woman's voice.
Oh, okay. So what I do is I do a consult with people and see what they're doing. Like, really good example are chiropractors and people that want to have a private club. This is how they still were able to drink during the prohibition in Texas. They would have drinking clubs and people would join and become member, and then they could serve them their drink right there in the other side of the restaurant. And so it's a similar concept. There's faith-based health organizations, faith-based educational associations, and then there's ministries and churches. And those are the organizations that I help with the founding documents. The process is that I need at least 2 founding trustees' full names, the name of the organization and what type of PMA, and a deposit and mission statement and vision statement. And then I draft the documents and send them over, and the organization starts when you sign the documents and date it. And then if you need banking, I can help with the EIN too, if you need to apply for an EIN. It's pretty simple too. So it's a matter of private contracts when you interact with other people as members of the organization or association. Thank you so much, Sheena. There's my website right there.
Amber, can you deal with a lot of people going through this process? What are some of the things that you coach people through as from a nerves perspective? And you know, it's quite scary to move forward in this realm, the first few steps, and then you realize what's going on and you're like, oh, this is so simple. But how do you coach people through the fear of trying this brand new, not only is it a brand new bank account, but it's a brand new way of doing banking, and the fact that you don't have to document, or you don't have to abide by any of the government regulations. I mean, that's just one huge pressure off of your back. You didn't even realize it was on your back. So how do you coach people through this?
Well, it's good for us as a PMA to keep good records and documentations of our agreements and of our members, and any contracts that we sign, like whether it's a lease. So it's good to keep good records is how I advise people. They can have an advisory board in their PMA and start have a book of meeting minutes. So anytime they make changes in the organization or adopt a new project or activity, they would keep track of those in the meeting minutes.
Great.
Cool. And speaking of minutes, I just have a couple minutes left, and then I'll hop back on in about a half an hour.
Thank you. Amber, do you have any quick tips before you go, like getting documentation ready, or when is it right to move forward with this decision?
Oh, that is such a good question. I think that it's something that you would know in your heart is right for you.
Yep.
Really.
Yeah. Do the girls have any more questions for Amber before she goes?
Yeah. Average cost?
Okay, so for a faith-based PMA, it's $1,800, and for a ministry, it's $2,400. and for a church, it's 4,200. And that is for the foundational documents, and with some time with me as a consultant and advise you and help make sure you can walk through the process. There's a lot of different types of questions that can come up.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have a question. Is there any way to the land that the ministry is on? Is there a way to protect the land that the ministry is on?
Yeah, for sure. It's a matter of doing a title transfer to bring the land into the ministry, and that is a way whoever is the founding trustees of the ministry will be in management of the land. I hope that made sense.
I'm sure there's a lot of concepts.
Yes,
They're going to
absolutely.
be.
Thank you.
Perfect.
You know, on that note, though, I mean, we are talking brand new language here. When we walk into the private realm, we really need to understand what it is that we're talking about and the concepts. And it does take a long time. It's a lifetime process, but each day we get stronger, we get more clear with what it is that we're doing. And with the help of Amber and Dan and others that are doing this, it's just going to get easier as we walk forward.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Amber.
All right, thank you.
And she'll be back in a little bit. She needs to run. Everyone has real lives, especially in this day and age.
So, are there other areas of the matrix besides PMA? I mean, we have all kinds of other areas such as health and wellness and natural lore and, food, water, and shelter. Are the other areas of your lives being taken care of and considered as we move through these historical changes? Either one of you? Gertrude?
Who are you talking to? I'm not
Either
sure.
one?
No, I can just. Go
I
ahead.
think you were talking about health and wellness, if I wasn't mistaken. I think you were asking about health and wellness and the essentials.
Yes.
Yeah, that is really key, and that is why I'm starting a farm. Even though I'm an artist and I've been a painter for decades now, I really feel like food is such an essential need for everyone, for every human being. And
Good food.
food that's healthy. And I mean, when you look at it from like a perspective as in Ayurveda and India, every single ingredient has a healing property. And I strongly believe, because both of my grandparents on both my mother and father's side, they grew vegetables and fruits in their garden. And for me growing up, that was just a natural thing. But as a teacher in South Central LA, and did not know where food came from. They had just the only idea that meat came out of a package. They had no idea it had some other form before it got packaged. So I just really want to have that visceral connection with food, and also have a connection with abundance as well, because it's so easy to fall into a place of feeling lack and there's not enough. But I mean, if more people like myself just start their own farm, even if they don't have much room, just a small backyard or even front yard or even a balcony, I have 5 acres, so there's a lot that I can do with that, and I'm planning it to be a food forest, and I'll have a greenhouse. But I think it doesn't matter how big or small it is. People on every level can start growing, and I even grew some things on my boat. I've had herbs, I've had sprouts. Easy to grow some things on my little boat too. So
You sort of hit it on the head. I'm from LA as well, and I went back and I just took a train down south, and I grew in a city, and then I moved on to a farmish. I had a garden and out in nature, and I really felt so different. I was able to expand my consciousness, really be at one with nature, and be totally happy and just content, and knowing that your food is really close. But then I've come back to California, and you see concrete jungle. There is no nature here. There is no connection to the food, to the nature. And it is a really, when you come from it from a higher frequency of knowing what food is meant to be, you're supposed to be a prosumer, consuming what you produce. And we're supposed to be involved in that process. And yet we have been cut from that process. Our connection with Source, God, Mother Gaia, to produce the things that we eat are now in the hands of the enemy. And that's a sad place to be. So you're doing the right thing. You're very much.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah, your boat sounds great. Your 5 acres sounds perfect.
Just following. Yeah, it's nice to have a place like San Diego where I could be on a mountain and only an hour away from the ocean. That is a really wonderful gift, and both of those places have this very strong connection with Mother Nature, and I really find that to be important. That's one of the things from the so-called plandemic that was actually a silver lining. I think a lot of folks realized how important it is to be connected, and that we are connected to nature. We are a part of nature, and it's difficult to live when we forget about that. And to have food, to grow food that is 10 times more nutritious and tastes better, that's a huge value. And I mean, we never really valued it. Was always getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. There were ways to genetic food.
Hey, Michael. Somebody needs to mute.
Can we put him out?
Just mute them or
I can't.
ask them to mute.
Yeah, when he comes on video, his audio automatically comes on, and he's in an establishment.
Okay, he's good.
Oh,
Keep
okay,
going.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, the red flags were flying there.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's just like food is so essential, but I feel like art is just as essential, because if we don't have the power to be creative and create, then nothing we see in this world will exist. Everything is from the powers of creative thoughts and minds. And that's it's a skill to put it down on paper. You do your preliminary sketches, and then put it together in whatever medium you're of choice, whether it be cars, buildings, paintings, sculptures, whatever. But I mean, all of that is essential. That art and food, and that's the juxtaposition that I'm trying to bring together. And that's my message. That's my life's work, is to put those two things together and show just how essential they are.
Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, I would love to talk
Indeed, and
more about how
Gertrude
you,
has
you know,
Gertrude has great experience with that, having been a museum
Yeah.
curator and having her own space in Long Beach, and very well connected. She's started introducing me to artists, so there's a lot coming.
Yeah, and I agree with your, you know, it's when you're aligned with truth. I was never an artist. I was never a poet. I didn't know how to write. I didn't know any of that. But when I aligned to truth, a big channel opened up, and it just flows through me. And I write now. I write. I do edits. Everything is creative, and it's the best feeling in the world to drop a piece of music and like it be totally aligned with the content or the words that are being said. It's like it just flows so effortlessly. It really is fun. But people don't have time to do
Fantastic.
that when they're in the matrix. When they're in the matrix and they're working 9 to 5, you have to almost exit the matrix to find that beauty of silence and space and, you know, just figuring out what it is that you're meant to be creating. And I think that's why they've created that matrix in that way, so you don't have the time to figure it out. And sometimes it takes something so dramatic or a tragedy to push you out of the matrix, and then you find that silence and that alone time to create. But eventually people get there, and when you do, it's a wonderful thing. And like you said, Gertrude, we all need to get there too. So the fact that you're focused on that is a very helpful thing. Do you help people find their creativity?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I need to lay the foundation so that I can gather folks together interested in finding their creativity. I think it's so beautiful in the mountains, and it is so naturally a gorgeous place. There really isn't much that needs to be done. It's like already amazing. I mean, just the moment you get there and you take a fresh breath of air, it changes you. You're different now. You're not like you're not the same person you were when you're in the city. So that alone, just being surrounded by nature and having fresh air, that can bring people to a place where they can create. And you know, I do have a lot of experience. I taught for more than a decade for LA Unified School District. I taught art, and I was a teacher that were really literally under the gun as they were walking to school in the morning. So they came to class traumatized. And my goal was to create that kind of space within the classroom that was a breath of fresh air. And, you know, sometimes I would bring music and create an atmosphere that way. But in nature, in the mountains, that's going to be a lot easier. And I want to do special programs so that underserved populations can enjoy that as well. And it's not just something that you can only experience when you can afford it. So I had thought about doing a nonprofit, because that's historically what nonprofits usually do. But having experienced also being a gallery owner and seeing how those worked and how I went about it, I definitely want to try something different and have it be a place that starts on abundance, because as a teacher, that's how I funded my gallery. And also I funded my students' art supplies. And I would show some of their art in the gallery, as well as community members that were artists, and as well as my own art. There's definitely other galleries in the same area where I had mine in Long Beach that they've gone about it in a different way, and I believe that they have a PMA, and they're still in business. They're doing just fine. There's it's more, as far as making ends meet, it's abundant, and they're not working a whole separate job just to fund their gallery. So at this point in my life, I need to figure that out.
What's a PMA? I'm sorry, I don't know
It's
what
a private membership
It's a private
association.
membership association.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And I think our intention is to learn and teach about that, right, Michael?
Yes, indeed.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up. He gave.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the legal terms that
That's-
people are going to need to learn. I like to say living in the private, but PMA is the business instrument that you use to get yourself into the private, in a private bank, away from the jurisdiction of the government, which everything is in the public realm. And we've been living in the public realm for our whole lives, quite a few centuries. And now we're all learning how to live in the private. And that's where people like Amber and Dan help. And there's others out there, like I keep saying, but it is a process. And you know, we're taking the first steps now, really. I mean, talking about it is a good thing. And then learning, and the course on freedomcollectivefoundation.org/community. We have a matrix exit course that has all this information. You can see Dan and his wonderful storytelling. You can see Amber and her explanation of how the lay of the land is laid out. And you get more information about natural law. So studying inside the course would probably be the next step after we hang out tonight and talk. And people are always looking for things to learn and research. So the information is out there.
Are you talking about the course that's coming in January, or is it something that's already online?
The Michael's course, the Dan's course that's coming in January is Dan's information, but we have a snippet of an interview that I did with him. And that's just like a precursor to what you'll expect when you buy the full price tickets. The course inside the platform is free. And there's lots of it's almost like a goodie bag of information just to get you started.
I saw that. What about Amber? Is there anything there?
Yes,
with
it
Amber?
is.
Okay.
Amber's, I think, section 2.
Okay, great.
Well, I think that's great.
Definitely. It's a wonderful thing.
I like your boat, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
It just makes me, I grew up on boats, and so I understand, you know, how that feels, and, you know, being out in nature and on water and by the water. It was always such a really good thing for me. And my mother and father took me on a lot of travels in my life, and so we got to experience so much. Yeah, they even had a motorhome, and then we'd pull the boat behind. And but then we had this big. One time we had, for 3 years, we had this big twin engine cruiser that would go down the Illinois River, and this thing had 2 twin V8s in it. And so anyway, I really enjoy the water, and I'm really wanting to get back to that. You know, I really am. And I'm so done with city life that I could almost some days just shut everything down and leave. You know, you feel like you just want to get out, and, you know, get that fresh air. And I've been going through so much pressures under this government crap, and it's just been like everybody, and it's even pushed me harder. But but they've, like we're talking about, you know, they've made it very difficult. So that's why, you know, these conversations are important. to try to figure out how we could get back to nature.
Hey, Michael, do you know how you would secure a boat? I mean, how would you do a PMA on water? Isn't that maritime law?
That's great questions that Gertrude will, I'm sure, be figuring out.
Yes. I mean, that would be a great question for Amber too, because how do you secure a boat in that jurisdiction? We'll see.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was.
As property within a trust
That-
would be one thing, you know, as a
Uh-huh.
conveyance as property, but perhaps even as your church. So who knows?
Because don't you have to put
Yeah.
a
This
physical
is
This is how we
another question
pray.
for Amber.
We go sailing.
Yeah.
I remember I went sailing. I took a girl on a date, and I got the thing all lined up, and we got out there and got on the water, and the charter guy, you know, he's like, he gets us going, and then he sits back like this and folds his arms, says, "Well, this is it. How do you like it?" So it was just like sailing, letting the wind just take you, you know. It's like, well, what do you think? It
It's not for everybody.
It seemed
Yeah.
boring at the time, you're right, you know, or that's what he was kind of into it, you know. But you know, I would do it again right now. So
Because don't you have to get
Yeah.
licenses for
It's
boats?
very
you've gotta get
slowing down
licenses,
kind of
insurance.
thing.
one at a time.
Sorry. Okay, I'll go. I was going to say, don't you have to get licenses and insurance with the boats? I
So
mean,
yeah, you do have to have insurance, and you don't necessarily have to have a license currently. But there is some kind of training that the U.S. Coast Guard would like everyone to have. But it's according to age currently, and folks at 40 and up don't have to worry about it quite yet. It's the younger generations right now that have to get some certification just to drive a boat. But currently, you don't need to. And I grew up in Southern California amongst really very accomplished captains that had sailed across oceans and around the world, and they didn't need any kind of license to be captains. And so that's what I'm accustomed to. I just grew up in that kind of environment, so for me it's not about the licenses, but unfortunately, because of the way our government is, that's coming down the pipeline. It's going to be happening for all ages. Currently, it's just the younger folks right now that need certification to drive a boat.
so you don't need a vaccine to drive a boat?
God,
Thank
not
goodness,
yet.
no.
Not yet, right?
And probably if you go through the process of PMA and being sovereign, you don't need the license either, because you're not in the matrix.
That's right.
I mean, you know, insurance is a fraud.
That's right. I mean, if you don't need a
Insurance is
driver's
terrible
license,
fraud. Yeah, insurance is a terrible fraud.
yeah,
Yep.
it is. Trust me, I do not like any kind of insurance. I never have liked insurance. But it seems like we have to have health insurance now. Otherwise, we get like I've been penalized with my taxes for not having health insurance. Yeah, I've been through that. And then as far as car insurance, that's illegal if you don't have that. And then most marinas won't allow your boat in their marina if you don't have boat insurance. So
It's like home insurance.
that's a lot of insurance
you
to
own a home,
have to
you
have.
have
But Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm lucky I'm old enough now. I can get pretty much free health insurance. So at least I don't have to worry about that now. That's one of the pluses of getting older.
Yeah. I also want to mention about food. It's wonderful to have a farm, but for those of us who are not able to have a farm, we need to push farmers markets up the top of the shopping list. Supporting those organic farmers, supporting those who have been doing the work for years and years and years and have real food to offer us. Yeah, and in
That's
California,
right. There
we're
are
actually
also
very lucky.
organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's some really incredible organizations that even have community gardens so
Yes.
that people can grow their own food in a small plot. It's amazing how much food you can grow even in a small plot.
True. I'm just a little lazy because I have 3 wonderful farmers markets just right here. So yeah.
Oh, lucky you. That's
Yep.
great. Not everybody has that.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just put a comment in one of the feeds. I don't know if it'll come up on there, but we should study all the food outlets, the farmers in our local areas, and figure out if we can contact them and start making networks through these farmers, and have some of these farmers on our shows and stuff.
Yeah, we need to get the farmers need to get into a PMA, because the laws of 2030, I mean, we're operating under public laws, and their laws are going to come in down for the farmers. So we need to let them know they have private rights that they need to fight for, actually, because we're already seeing the progression of GMOs and things that we're not now allowed to use. And yeah, we all, I mean, for the safety of humanity, need to stand in the PMA for farmers and support them. And like what you were saying, or we just, get local and shop local. And
yeah. And there is also an organization, I can't remember the website right now, but it's something like Farmers Match or something like that is already developing a list of farmers that people can join that website and find farmers in their community. Because honest to truth, if my farmers markets close, I'm starving, because that's 85% at least of the food that I eat is from the farmers market.
There's a great company.
Farm Match.
Farm Match, yeah.
Michael, do you remember the company in San Diego? It was a farmers company where you put your name in, and they kind of have lots of farms in the area, and they all come together with the food, and they deliver the food to the doors of the people. And
I remember you messaged me about that, but we didn't meet the same people at the same time, and I thought you were referring to Farm Match, but you said no.
No, it wasn't Farm Match. It was another one. But there's lots of great ideas about bringing the farm to your home. And it's really just that mindset shift of getting your food from the grocery market to going somewhere else to get the food. And that's changing somebody's mindset is the hardest part of this process. But like the PMA process, once you go through it, you're like, I wish I did it sooner, know.
There is also Azure standard. I don't know if you're aware of that. It's they got fired too, But it's a company in Oregon that organizes drop spots around, and you join one of the drop spots, and then you place your order by the cut date, and a week later you go to the drop spot and pick up the food that you order. So they have also pantry food, not just produce. And I just placed my order yesterday, and I'm waiting for beans and cheese and all kind of good stuff. And it's all organic and clean and wonderful. So
does that get sent to you by mail each week? Is that?
No, I go to a drop spot in my area. It's 7 minutes from my home.
Yeah.
They have a volunteer for each of the drop spots that organizes everything at the spot.
Yeah.
and they deliver once a month. And
That's
it's
great.
wonderful. It's great option too for grocery food.
Yeah. Is that less expensive?
I don't know. I don't look at money when it comes to food.
Mhm.
I will look at money when it comes to cleaning stuff and stuff like this. I make a lot myself, but when it comes to food, I want organic, GMO free, and I'm willing to pay more for that.
Yeah. So that drop off is all pure, natural, organic.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
wonderful. I see.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, and the deliver. I don't know how far they go, but all over.
CSA, which is the community.
CSA.
Yeah, it might be a CSA, which is a community support agriculture, and it's a group whose members receive weekly shares of food from a certain farm or groups in my region. And I have a CSA in the mountains where my land is, which is, I think, the preferred way to get food to the local community, because having a farmer's market in really extreme mountains sometimes just isn't conducive to be that the wind is just like taking away as if it's a parachute or it's just so darn cold and you're hoping somebody's going to buy a head of lettuce. It's like the CSA, I think, is the way to go. As far as farmers markets, it's just that the weather's really extreme in the mountains, so that has been successful, the CSA. There is a farmers market in Santa Isabel, the base of the mountain, where the weather is still very extreme, but the woman who runs it, she's just a diehard, and she's been doing it for 10 years. So kudos to her. I'm really happy she does that, and she's open to me actually selling my produce there, but or my products there, because currently I just have like flower waters and herb mix, but it's just not a great environment. It's really harsh. It's either extremely hot in the summer or extremely cold in the winter. It gets windy, and I think a CSA is the way to go.
What does it stand for, CSA?
That's a membership organization. It's a community supported agriculture.
Great.
And
thanks.
it's a membership organization. So I wonder if that has anything to do with private membership. I wonder if they have a private membership within a CSA,
They may
or
have
if
a
that's
PMA.
something outside of a PMA.
Mhm.
They may. They may. But as far as I know, that's something that agricultural groups get together and do. And they have a truck that delivers the produce, and people order. More than likely, they order online. I haven't seen the actual website, the one in my area, but that I do have to research, because I've really looked into going the normal farmers market route, and not only is extreme harsh conditions to be doing that in the mountains, but it's harsh conditions to conduct business with our government constantly coming down on us as far as what ingredients we put in things, and you have to have a commercial kitchen, or you have to rent one if you want to make certain kinds of foods. So,
And then the
Yeah.
health department dogs are
Very
walking around and all that. But it's not easy for them. But that is one reason I really insist on supporting them. And I go once a week religiously. And I have to be honest, to me, it's like going to visit family, because I've been going there for so many years now, that I love to go to my farmer's market. meet the farmers face to face, talk to them, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my friend, who I absolutely admire her fortitude in keeping that farmers market going, is the fact that it does bring community together, and that is so important. Farmers market is a way to bring community together face to face. I'm really grateful that we can come together on the internet face to face. But of course, a situation like a community farmers market would be even better, because you really get that interaction, a one-on-one interaction or a group interaction. And we learn so much from each other, and it helps to just be supportive and recognize our interdependence.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I hold to that.
All right. Well, was there anything else? Let's see. Exiting the matrix. I mean, how are your family members? I mean, are we still speaking to our families? And I can tell you a big fat no. I'm not talking to my family.
No, only one branch.
They have not exited the matrix yet. They're still in the matrix watching television.
No, there's one branch of my family that includes my ex-husband and our firstborn, that are all brainwashed and all that. I'm very lucky to have my younger daughter a little closer to me and not brainwashed, more independent thinking, although she also thinks that I'm crazy, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But I see her a lot, and that's good. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, especially with my older daughter, being jabbed and all that. It's not easy by any means. But it really, I think it pushed all of us to find our true tribe. Not the tribe that is like out here, not too close, not too deep, but our true tribe. And I'm thankful for that, and for the fact that more and more people are waking up to what's really happening in the world.
You're getting a bunch of feedback again, and we can't hear her. But please continue.
Yeah. So the finding our real tribe and everything. And I never closed. I'm a shamanic teacher and practitioner, and in the healing arts. So that's my art, is in the healing. And I never closed. When people ask me if they needed to mask when they come here, I said, I prefer you don't, but if you feel more comfortable, then put your mask on. I will not mask. So, and I still started, I have a year-long program among the other workshops that I teach. I have a year-long program, and we still have a nice group this year going.
Awesome. You just really stuck your ground. I mean, people like you are really making a difference. That rippled throughout the community.
Yeah, really. Yeah. And I do consider myself a little bit of although it puts me in front of this screen for longer than I wish, but I do consider myself a digital soldier.
Good.
If you look on my Facebook wall and all those things, I just found for some reason, I'm not completely censored. I'm very, very heavily shadow banned, but I'm not censored. What I do is I put just a few words in the subject, and then everything else is in the comments. I don't post things directly. I post them in the comments. And for some reason, I'm flying under the radar somehow. So I keep doing it, keep fighting. And, whoever was on your wall, Sheena, yesterday or today about why are you in California? No. We are fighting for this state. We are not leaving. We're going to save this state, period.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Yes. Amen, sister. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we don't give up. It's not optional.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I know, going back to this, the food ingredients and stuff and trying to get things unregulated so much. I know that a lot of people are experiencing that, trying to get products to market. And it's, the government's going around trying to control everything still. And, this Agenda 2030 is real. We know this. It's publicized. These people are, thinking that they can, control this whole matrix. And so here we are. And every day people are trying to fight it and learn how to, unite. And boy, the work that everybody's doing is just amazing. So, these people that come on these shows, all you people, I meant, it's just amazing the work that you're doing. I mean, it's unbelievable. So thank you for the hard work that you're doing every day, and because we're all working our asses off. And there's hundreds of thousands of people now starting to try and really, figure out this matrix and, figure out how we can maneuver through it. All while being, like we talked about, having family issues because of the mass psychosis that went on and that continues on. So the mass psychosis is really unbelievable. I've had fairly good luck with my family. My mom died early in the thing, but she already had an emphysema, and she didn't, they didn't diagnose her with COVID or whatever, the stupid C word. So she just passed. She had some stuff. And then my dad, he would have gotten the juice if we wouldn't have educated him. So it's very important that we keep educating. And we finally got to him. We finally got to him, and he never took it. And he's 88, and he's just fighting his back pain. But he's doing pretty good. The rest of my family, we have another family member that took the jab, and then she has breast cancer now. So lots of different issues out there, and the young people, it's the young millennials and a little younger than that, younger than those old. I'm still hearing a bunch of background noise. I don't know why, but
Who's in a public space? Okay, thanks, Michael. Thank you.
As a producer, that drives me crazy, just so you know, Michael. Sorry.
You're doing a great job, Joe. And I just have to say, your purple is just off the charts. I mean, you just look so cool right now. I mean, just the setup is amazing.
Well, thank you. And sometimes I just, this whole thing of me. Yeah, go ahead, Gertrude. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I was just going to echo what Sheena said.
Oh, thank you. I'd rather be on your boat, actually. But now, are you on the water right now? Or are you on the water right now, or are you just?
The boat is in the water. Yes.
Oh my God.
No, the boat's in the water. Awesome. It's in a marina, right, with really flat water, which I don't always get like nice, smooth, flat water. But when I do have flat water, like I'm in right now, that's when I do a lot of work. That's why I've got tools. I'm like constantly working on my boat.
That's so cool.
Constantly.
Which marina are you docked in?
Oh, we better not tell that.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm just so close.
I wouldn't do that.
I used to work in the San Diego harbor, right there at the Hyatt Regency. Yeah. So I used to hang out with the boys there. Yeah.
How cool.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
I love going to the yacht shows where you go on all the yachts and they all have different personalities when you go inside of them.
They do.
It's the best.
Yes, like just like every boat has its own personality, so does every island. So going and sailing around an island for me is the best way to see an island.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
And you do it on your own? Like, do you get scared or anything, or?
Well, I first became a captain when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
So it's not a scary thing. It's quite natural. I mean, that's around the time a lot of us learn how to ride a bicycle, right? So do you get scared when you ride a bike?
No. Wow. Have you had?
Go ahead.
Have you had any close encounters, like with sharks or anything, like the Bermuda Triangle? Or
I've had so much interaction
No.
with wildlife that I'm writing a book about basically just the interaction with wildlife.
wow.
Huh.
You just
Wow.
get more and more interesting as you talk.
She's amazing. And
Yeah.
gosh, I just I'm just I don't know what to say. I think it's really cool. Everybody has their their things they'd like to be doing, and I think that's what we've been cut off from, and they're making it more and more difficult for us to attain our kind of our dream, or not based on the government or anything, or money or anything like that, but our dreams and things we'd like to be doing. They don't encourage that. The government is a slavery entity, and so all they want us to do is lift rocks and put them on the pyramid, I guess, and so we lost. And now they've made it so hard, economically, and so we have to fight through that. And so I think that's part of our mission, is to how do we build wealth again, within our communities. What type of wealth? What does that look like? What does that wealth look like? Does it look like good food growing? It could look like that, because that'll keep us alive a long time, and plus make us happy, having good nutrition. So I think it's a great topic that we ended up on a good topic today, food, and because when it comes to this matrix, the food is where they hit it. These satanic war machines, they start hitting the food supply, and that's what they're doing out there right now.
Yep.
So it's really sad to see. And but other countries and the historic wars that have gone on, grandmothers are still alive. Some of the grandfathers are still alive. They're trying to kill them off so that they can't tell the story. And so this is another podcaster I heard the other night was talking about that. They're going, that's what a lot of this was about, and the nursing home deaths and all this stuff. But because there's a lot of, really good knowledge, firsthand knowledge that is with the old people. So you just wonder if this kind of thing has happened before. And it's really kind of just mind boggling.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's happened before in the millennials. So I just wonder about that. So I'm hoping for the best, but I sure would like people to prosper, live well, breathe, not be all panicked by this government crap every day. And I want to get out of here, man. I so want to get away from the. I was able to travel the world. I had a great job for a while and went to different countries, South America, all over the place, Poland. I just loved it, and just the idea that America is the greatest country on earth. I don't know. When I traveled around, it's like I didn't feel that. It's like I was feeling more like I was at home when I was abroad, and even people commented to that effect. Because I didn't have to have all these processed foods in me all the time while I was there. I could take a sip of a nice espresso, and I was happy. And I liked a good fruit drink, and I didn't need ice in my water. If I didn't, I didn't have to have ice in my water, because I don't know. My mom must have trained me well. I don't know, because she just made it so that you were a happy person. You ate dinner at the right time. You tried to never be bored. She always said she was never bored, and for many years I took that to heart. And but I'll tell you what, this last 3 years has been the toughest. Here I am trying to replay that in my mind as I'm going through all these weird changes with this dynamic and this matrix, and it's hard.
It is easier, though, with you guys. It's easier when we have a group of people to hang out with.
Well, this knowledge in these groups, is really great. And I think we can capitalize on that because I think we have, a really amazing amount of networking that we've done over these years, Sheena. And, these years should, we need to make this pay off in a way that is amazing for people and for us, because but I want to make some moves. I mean, I want to make some big moves. I don't know what it's going to be, but
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Just let's just trust the process. Great things are coming. Great things are coming.
Also, having a spiritual practice, I find is, or at least for me, it's been the most helpful thing in my life. I didn't know that life can be like this. Nothing touches me. It just, because I have a very strong spiritual practice. And to that end, you said that you have hope. In my book, and please don't take it the wrong way, but in my book, hope is not enough. We need to know that it's getting better. We need to see the better. And we need to insist on just moving in that direction. One step at a time, each one of us in their own pace, but knowing that things are getting better, knowing that we can change the world, knowing that everything is going to be fine. And I say at my age, even if I don't live to see it, it's fine. It's fine. We're paving the way for the next generations.
I like
so
that.
Good to hear you say that, Ari. Thank you.
Yeah, that was really good because every day I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say
Thank
I
you.
hope. I don't want to say I hope, really, to tell you the truth. I want to start living it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't need to wait for it to be around us to live it, because it's all within us. It's all within us. And that's the teachings of the spiritual paths, many paths, not just the path that I follow. It's all within us.
Can you give us some tips on how to access? Because you said you found it and now everything's amazing. Can you give some tips on those first steps of accessing that?
The first thing, and for me, the biggest thing is gratitude. And before I get out of bed in the morning, I lay in bed and express my gratitude for the life I have, for waking up another morning. Who knows, right? I could be gone tomorrow. So gratitude. And I make a point at stopping along the way every day to express gratitude. The shamanic path that I follow, if you give one of the original, I follow the Peruvian shamanic way. If you give them some food or a bottle of water, they will not even think about putting it to their lips before they offer a little to Mother Earth. They're always in a place of gratitude. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you for producing that food for me, for growing it, for sustaining me. And honest to goodness, I didn't know that it's possible, but when you live like that, you just float above the excuse me bullshit. It doesn't touch you. And yeah, I have my down days too, but they don't last. And then I bounce right back to knowing that everything is fine. Everyone is playing their role perfectly. We all came here with a role. Everyone is playing their role perfectly, including all the bad players out there. We're all playing our roles perfectly. So when you live in that place and that space, it's just so gratitude is a huge one for me, huge. And love. I live in my heart and from my heart. Conscious too. I had a teacher who said once, don't do anything unconsciously, it's dangerous. So really stopping during the day, seeing what you're doing, where are you going, what are your thoughts? Because we create with our thoughts, with our words, with our actions. So making sure that our thoughts are always where we want to go. And it's not maybe the same for all of us, but how do I want this world to look like? That's what I will play in with my thoughts.
Love it. That's exactly what we need to be doing. I used to tell people we need to be sitting in silence. We need to be figuring out what we want to do. We need to visualize. And most importantly, away from the matrix, which as every corner of consciousness is entrapping you in propaganda, in lies, in deceit. I mean, we need to stop watching new movies and going to the all the activities are devolving the human species. So sitting in silence and doing exactly what you just said, sitting in love and gratitude, and
yet finding the balance, because my daughter that is close to me, she comes when she can once a week, and we watch movies together. So yeah, we go back into that realm. But I watch movies very differently now, very differently.
And no, you're not. What you're not doing though, you're not going to the movies. You're not going to spend money. You're not. I mean, what you're relaxing in the house. I mean, you're allowed to relax at the house, but you're not doing it inside the matrix. You know that's where the problem is. It's the traveling, it's the spending the money, it's the sitting and getting the popcorn and watching watching their previews, and the whole experience of that's what entertainment is. When that kind of entertainment is for the house,
Yeah. In the house, I can be critical of what I'm watching in the way that I watch it. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and in the house is for that type of entertainment. You don't go out and spend money on that kind of, I mean, I don't want to say junk, but I mean it's casual relaxation type of, your beta waves, you're just like sitting as a dumb, quiet person, or a wanting to go to sleep stage.
It's actually quite interesting to watch movies when you know what you know.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yes.
The whole industry is meant to put us in the matrix. The whole industry.
Yes.
So when you know that and you watch movie, I sometimes giggle in the most inappropriate places in a movie, because I see where they're trying to take us.
Yeah. Well, even cartoons. I just filmed a cartoon the other day, and it says, so let's ask the science. Are vaccines and Wi-Fi radiation, is that bad for you? No. And it's like, my God, they just lied to our kids right in front of their faces.
Yeah. And then the kid watches news with the parents in the evening where Fauci says, I am science. I am the science. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. He even said, if criticize him, you're criticizing science.
Yeah, exactly. And if a kid who watched that cartoon earlier that day watches that in the evening, they connect it. They do 1 + 1. Oh, he's science. Okay, I better listen to him, right? It's all their game of brainwashing and control and all that.
What an amazing time to be alive. I mean, we are living among some people who are, their motto is by way of deception.
Yep.
And we are just like, that's what the matrix is all about. It's all about by way of deception. That's why we need to exit the matrix. We need to be tapping into all these wonderful tools and resources, information, because it's all out there. I mean,
yes. Speaking of tools and resources, I would love to add something to the tools and resources for spiritual healing on many different levels. This was given to me by a shaman who is from Hawaii. And I don't know if you've heard of this prayer, but apparently it comes from Hawaii and perhaps even further back and more ancient, like Atlantis or Lemuria. And it is called Ho'oponopono.
Yep.
And it's very, very simple. But if you repeat it over and over and over again, there's this really great recording on YouTube that's a song, and they loop it so it goes around and around. And that is such a powerful prayer. So if my mind starts to wander, and I have any sort of negativity, I will start to say that prayer. Or if I'm encountering someone that I feel has a lot of tension, like the other day I was driving and this guy, I guess he didn't think that I was supposed to go first, but when I stopped at the stop sign, I just went because I saw that there was like a hesitation. Sometimes that just happens. And I didn't really mean anything by it. I just went ahead because I felt like he was hesitating. So I just went ahead. oh my gosh, his face was so scary and so angry. I immediately was like, Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Thank you.
And thank you. I love you. And that one prayer said, anytime, any place, but especially in places like that, is it's an amazing transformation, because the forgiveness and the release, when you say I'm sorry and thank you, you know that you've been forgiven. You know that it's done. It's like, and so it is. It's done. And that's why I love you. I mean, it's all we all love each other. This is why we're here. We're here to love.
Yes.
This is what it's all about.
Aho to that. Yes. And as just a suggestion, if you're going to try the Ho'oponopono repeatedly for a while, have a box of tissues with you.
Yes, yes, because it goes deep. It goes to past lives. It goes to ancestors. It goes to all the animals on this planet.
Masculine, feminine. Really yeah.
Yes, and other planets and other beings. It goes everywhere.
Yeah, I used it to help my mother transition after her stroke. She was in the hospital for 3 months, not speaking. And yeah, I think it helped.
Yeah.
I did a Ho'oponopono prayer 21-day challenge in December 2019 about this situation, the New World Order that we're in. And it really did help me too. Like it just shifted everything to a higher perspective. And I remember thinking, this is some good stuff.
Yeah. Another one is the heart-mind coherence meditation. There are a few online, and everyone resonates with a different voice and different sound and everything. Yeah, I love that one too. That really just plants you in the earth and in your heart.
The only thing I've been listening, and learning a little bit. Do you guys know anything about the frequency of music at all? 432 hertz and all this, and been kind of. So the other night, I've been having a lot of back pain, and there was some videos I looked up, and like you said, Gertrude, you could have it, just play loop, while you sleep too. And so I did that the other night, and I do feel better. Like today, I don't know, I just feel looser. It was like the day before yesterday. I did it all night long, and I listened to this meditation music that was specific to I guess somehow certain parts of your body. So I don't know if anybody's experienced that before, but and of course I'm a writer and a producer of this. Sometimes I've done some theme music that kind of has that meditation, connotation to it. But anyway, I tried that, and I really that really helped me that night. I really needed that, and that was kind of my form of meditation for that evening. And I just
it works.
Yeah. So I've had to do things like that too to stay,
Which
halfway
frequency?
sane. It was 432 hertz. And I guess they're doing most music nowadays is produced in 440.
432.
And 432.
Yeah, I don't know how to tell the difference. Yeah.
It has something to do with the calculations of the universe and different things, because we used to know. I mean, that was like knowledge. That's why it started out in 432, because they put a lot of math together with the frequencies that are happening in this world. And I guess 432 is a more soothing and more, constant, less invasive frequency. I don't know. But so I'm learning about it, and like I say, I tried this listening to this 432 hertz meditation music. You can look it up. It's a lot of people are doing it now on YouTube. So and you can just play it, and like Gertrude said, you just let it loop, and it's like 2-hour things in a loop. So anyway, that's kind of thing. Yep.
If you want your mind really blown away, look up David Serrata.
Okay.
Yeah, he's all into frequencies and stuff like this, and it's a lot of what he says is over my head, completely over my head, but he talks about it.
Okay. And his last name was, you said David?
Serrata or Serrata? Yeah, I can look it up. I don't have my cell phone here, but
okay. Maybe if you can try and put it in the comments after, so everybody can.
Let me go get my cell phone. Yeah,
that'd be great. Or you can do it later.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay.
Optimizing frequencies and lyrics and the ADSR sound envelope and all aspects of music are a major venture. I think that's why I'm really here in this world. So the Alta Music Foundation is a venture that I started in 2013. It's still conceptual. It'll require the right people, but I think through teams like what we're building here, we can get there.
Very good. Yeah, I definitely do a lot of that. A lot of music stuff. But the there's just and that's another control mechanism that the government has on the matrix, and they collude with the performing rights organizations. There's lots of lawsuits every year. It's just another one of those things. It's just another matrix, but we can build our own. I like the idea of building, our own music kind of platform. I think would be good to intertwine, and maybe it includes 432 hertz and different things like that. But anyway, I just interesting.
Oh, yeah, that would be neat.
Exactly like watching the movies. I now listen to music in the same way, not related to the 432 hertz, but music in general. The whole music arm is brainwashing the kids. So if you're a parent and you're sending your kids off to the concerts or any of these mainstream music venues, I mean, they are brainwashing the children as well. And just like the movies, you're hearing, them telling them to, drink booze and pass out and hangover mornings. And it's not a good place to be for the kids. So yeah, it's something we need to evolve from. So a new music would be welcomed.
Well, even the adults are. The adults
backwards to the old music.
Yeah, they want to go.
Stuff.
They want to go back. They want to listen to the same stuff all the time. So when you go out, to do your social activities over adult beverages, everybody wants to hear the same song over and over again. So they'll sit there and they'll play the song, oh yeah, they're getting the jukebox thing going, and it's always the same stuff, right? I don't understand that.
It's just nostalgic. It's like, can't you play another song? Like, it's the same shit
I swear these people want to be stuck in the matrix. I swear. There are people that want to be stuck in this matrix. I swear to you.
It's actually quite natural because it's what we know. Right. It's recognizable. It's the same reason why people find themselves married for the third time to the same personality that they married the first time.
Right.
And usually it's someone that resembles one of their parents.
Great
it's familiar.
Comparison.
It's familiar. It's
familiar, yeah.
It's,
But why are we like that? I mean, is that the way we were created?
Habit formation.
Or deceived into.
Okay.
Because shamans don't live like that. Shamans shed their skin again and again and again and again to renew themselves again and again and again.
I think it's just me because I'm an Aries. And so I just don't look back. So I just keep going forward, and I like new stuff. So I want to know everything new. I want everything new. Come give me everything new.
Yeah.
It's not just you.
right?
Yeah, no. Aries, Aquariuses are a little bit like that. They're always look for something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So it's David Sereda. It's Sereda.
SER.
EDA. He's a fascinating guy.
Okay, and the first name was Davy.
David.
David, yeah.
David.
Was it
David.
David? Okay,
Here it is. He's got
Okay.
davisserrata.co.
.co, right?
.co, not .com. I used to have a website. That's the way InfoWin was.
so the thing I
infowin.co.
wanted to mention also, I think the frequency of 432 is more connected with nature and also the planets and the universe. And currently, we have planet Mars very close to planet Earth. And the moon just rose. That's what I was doing with my phone over here, because I have a planet app on that tells me that the certain planets are in the vicinity and viewable with the naked eye. And we do have Mars very close by and also near the moon right now. So it's quite a sight to see that big orange ball in the sky at night.
Yeah. Yeah. The moon was full yesterday, so she's still pretty full.
So it's been beautiful there.
Definitely. I'm always aware of that. Yes,
Yeah, me too,
and
because I
tides are
can
very
see.
extreme. So
Oops, I just put the wrong comment in there.
my boat is here, and when it's low tide, people are on a walkway way up high. And then when the tide gets high, I get close to all the people walking by. I could see them eye to eye. But when the tide's low, I'm so far down, they look down on my boat and they could see me working on it.
That's a
Have
great
you-
perspective.
Have you ever spent the night in the middle of the ocean?
Yes, I have many times, and I've also spent a few days in the middle of the ocean where I could not see any land and there was no wind. So the ocean was glassy and it was reflecting the sky. So you, both at night or daytime, it reflects the sky. So you really feel like you're in outer space, whether it's a night or day in those conditions. And it's just pretty amazing.
Were you scared then?
No, just kind of like fascinated and, feeling in wonderment, not scared. And in fact, during the daytime, in warm waters, I've jumped off the boat and swam in that. So you feel weightless and you're floating in outer space. And that just, that's
wow.
great.
Wow. Have you come across any pirates?
Oh, yes. There are definitely pirates.
I believe it.
There's just a lot of men, because I'm near a walkway. I mean, I get sometimes leer in if I am out and about on my boat. Hey, nice boat,
Yeah. Man. Now, does it get scary when
So
there's
it's a good thing I have a dog that's a.
Oh, go ahead with your dog story.
I have a little Chihuahua. So, yeah, well, she's my defense. If a guy wants to talk to me too long, she'll bark him away.
That's cute. I was thinking about a poodle today. I don't know why. Just I was walking home and I walk a lot in this little town. And I was walking and I was just thinking I saw some of your little poodle in their in their arms, in their car, and the little poodle is just like right here, and they're just talking a little poodle.
Mhm.
And I thought maybe I'll get me a poodle. I've always had a cat. I had dogs years ago, but with my mother and father and that and all that. But when I became an adult, I kind of liked cats more. I guess I took the cats because I don't know. I brought a cat home one day, and that was the end of that. And then I knew that I just always liked cats. So now I was thinking the other day because my cat died, so I'm like, oh shit, 15 years, 17 years. That was another thing that happened
Oh,
to me this
I'm
last couple of
sorry.
years.
Oh,
And so her name was Tabitha, and she was great. And but I just was thinking today a poodle, and I think if I get a poodle, I'll just call her Poodles.
that's a good name. Yeah.
Are you talking a toy poodle or a standard
Poodles.
poodle?
Well, I was thinking a small dog.
Small one.
I like big dogs, but they get a little sloppy.
Yeah.
And they're a lot to take care of.
No, did you see my guy here? He came to visit a couple times.
I
The best.
love all dogs, really.
The best. He's
Yeah.
a pit bull Labrador mix. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
the best.
Been a
Yeah.
great dog. Yeah, that's great. And but an animal can be very comforting too.
Nice.
Oh, it's science. That's real science I'm talking about. Not Fauci
It
science.
is.
But yeah. When you pet a dog, you have all these great hormones, and they too.
Yeah.
too.
Another good therapy for people to do, and they should do more of, is going out to like horse farms. Horse farms are everywhere, so you could, and they're struggling too, by the way. People that are raising horses and stuff, but it's such a release to go to. I used to work at a place here in about 7-8 miles away from here, part time, and I would clean the stalls and got to know the owners, did a video commercial for them. And that's how I got to know them. And I said, well, I'll just work part-time because I wanted to be around the horses, and it was great. And those horses, let me tell you, the therapy that I went through for that year was amazing. And I would, when I was alone with the horses and I could sing, I sang, I would sing in the barn as I'm cleaning, and I would cry. There was times when I cried and talked to the horses, and the way they came to me, and after that time period, after the first month to 2 months, where you start bonding, it was amazing. And so I'll never forget that. So I go back to that AKS Farms here in Des Moines, whenever I can, and those horses don't forget me.
No, they're amazing. Horses, dogs, dolphins. Yeah, and cats too.
On this note, I really feel so much for the animals that are going to lose their owners, the pets that are going to be traumatized from the loss, the massive loss.
It's already happening.
From the other pets that they live amongst.
Yeah, it's already happening. I have few people in the rescue business, and it's already happening.
But that makes me so sad.
Sad. Wow, there's just so much going on, and everybody's like you say. Then these farmers are losing their land all over the world. Can you imagine? I mean, I just can't imagine. They've got dogs, they've got pets, they got cats, they got all their animals that they've had for years, and these infiltrators are coming in, and I wish something would get done about it, where this would not happen. But I don't know. There's the mainstream news, doesn't give us enough information on this kind of stuff. You have to dig and dig and dig and dig. And so it's hard to get good information as to what actually is going on. But I'll tell you what, I'll bet you if we get involved with these food co-ops, we'll start learning.
If I may offer another perspective, I cry over those animals too. However, I also know that we all came here to play our role. and so did the animals. And we knew what we're coming to. We knew, we chose this life. We chose to be here at this time, and so did the animals. And that helps me. It doesn't take the pain away really, but it helps, because when you can sit and look at things from that perspective, you have more peace as you grieve. You have more peace within you.
And the other thing is that maybe there will be a big outreach of love towards these animals. Maybe that's another thing on our list, in terms of outreach is animal people that are, caring for animals and finding out what's going on. But that's part of the matrix, the learning. We can get a lot of information from those people because the government's coming down on them, with certain weird stuff, right?
Yep.
So,
Well, actually, yes, on many dimensions. I had a long conversation today with someone I met through Sheena, whose business I learned in the corporate world was space design. And many folks will ask him, like, outer space? No. Corporate space, mostly, but personal space and business space. So interior space design. And I just brightened it at so much, realizing that as much as when you work for the corporations, you often don't get to have a portfolio of your work because it's under contract for the big boys.
Yeah.
But he still does have a collection of his work, which he blunk out the identifying information and show your work, for God's sake. Because where I find that particularly interesting and how it fits together with everything that we've been envisioning individually and collectively is that from the beginning of, pre-COVID, from when Sheena and I first began communicating in 2019 and maybe earlier when I was realizing the California fires of 2017 and 18 were suspicious, shall we say.
slightly. Just slightly.
It looks a little odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, only if you were paying attention to the details. But
Or if you evacuate it.
yeah. At any rate, I've been feeling from that time at least that the owners of large land are our potential saviors. And so ranches and farms are the places where if we coordinate and make sure that they feel safe and we're not going to overrun them with unwanted energy, but instead help them to best utilize the resource. These were folks that were accustomed to following orders from their corporate bosses. Okay, here's a lot of money. Kill your livestock, destroy your crops. Horrendous kinds of directives. And frankly, the Canadian convoy didn't really reverse that pattern. It could have had the potential of, okay, let's stop shipping product only to the big box stores. Let's change the pattern and bring it through organizations like Farm Match to bring it directly to the people. So if we coordinate with those folks who planned ahead better than I did, put money in the bank, have land, and may not know how best to reallocate and utilize it. And this harkens back to a conversation that Gertrude and I were having with a friend of mine in Vista, Robert Braska, in terms of how land is can be allocated and utilized and what's it best for, and then what kinds of structures can be built. What does the community need rather than what do your corporate bosses need? What does our world need? And how can you fulfill that need and thereby benefit by providing it? And the remuneration may be in the completely new form of currency, like some of the folks that Sheena's been talking to, rather than the old FRNs, Federal Reserve notes, greenbacks, dollars. So there's completely new ways of reconfiguring our resources. We, men and women, are the supply chain. We are the power. We are divinely created, and we have infinite capabilities to flip the script and write the new script for the new world.
Wonderful. Love
Oh,
that thought.
I like
yeah.
it. Very
Yeah.
good.
And I love that you said men and women.
Mhm.
Well, my mom was maybe not in charge of our family, but Dad and I served my mom, and she served us. So
Aw.
I am accustomed to often deferring to the leadership of a strong woman. That's why there's 3 women on this panel. Because I groove with you
I made
women.
my mistake.
I will
I made-
listen to you.
I listen to
Well-
women. I listen to women more than I do men these
Aw.
days. And the reason I made a lot of mistakes early in my life, but now I know that women have a lot of intuition and different aspects, and that I didn't quite get over the years. And so anyway, I think the energy that women are bringing to this kind of thing, for instance, or protests around the world, we can see the power that is inside these women that's coming out right now, and that's just another aspect of the Great Awakening, if you want to say that. And going back to what I don't remember your name, the lady with the beautiful
Gertrude.
dog. No,
Orit.
Orit.
Orit, and just living in the now, the power of now,
Yep.
saying that we are here, we are going to be, like, we're not going somewhere, we are in it. So I think, and this is what this conversation is about, but it's further than that, because we have to make an effort to change the world, right? Well, that's kind of our mission in a way. But at the same time, try and live our life, in a happy way to radiate that to others. I think is as an important, mission, because, and I don't know, I think I do pretty good at it. Sometimes, I have a lot of people that, sometimes I don't believe in myself more than, somebody else believes in me. At times, and so it's like, so sometimes that's part of it, but I do feel like the women have put forth their efforts more than men, in terms of physically getting out there in the public, doing things. I remember when I was always in a relationship, it was the lady would always want to, she was the one kind of wanting to go out and do things and make interactions and have conversations with people. At least most women, I think, are like that. Not all, but so looking back on that, like, hey, let's go do this tomorrow. Let's go this, and sometimes as the man goes, the man just, oh, no, I want to watch football. I want to do this. I want to do that. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. It's like, but then all of a sudden you're without somebody like that, somebody guiding the activities and events and going out and doing things. And then you're just like kind of lost. I'm like, I just really miss that kind of thing. And so, I think women have really somehow something about the woman that was created that has a certain power, that is like a light, that like some flame that's in there, because I mean,
You think?
they're doing some fantastic things right now around the world. So, and they're putting themselves out on the line on a lot of issues. So. And the knowledge that it seems like they're more of a study too, and that's a fact when it comes to school and colleging and all that the scores of the women are higher in a lot of cases. So
well,
anyway,
it's easy for us to quote the mama bear metaphor for why women behave that way, but also in terms of our species, Men have been trained to work at a job, and women over millions of years have had to figure out who's trustworthy and who's not. So the smart ones that are going to protect their cubs, children, etc., we're figuring out, oh, this ain't right. And I don't care what any boss or man tells me. I'm here to protect my family, and no, you ain't sticking nothing in my kids or me. And they were the fighters, while men are going, I need a job. Without a job, I'm nothing. So they're following the corporate line because they were trained to, yes sir, yes sir, no sir, and then give and take orders. So to me, it made perfect sense. May have been a little bit surprising to some people, but when the Freedom Angels and Peggy Hall and Lee Dundas were just not taking any flack, and they were fighting, and Audra Morgan here in San Diego was going into the San Diego Board of Supervisors meetings, and it's all those people just fighting. I'm very impressed and not terribly surprised, personally.
Yeah. You're both very right. However, we all have both energies within us. Men have been trained to forget that aspect of themselves, to be the bread earner and all that, right?
Yep.
And women have been trained to be to submit to the man. But when we go within, we find both. And it is completely possible to grow the side that is a little maybe less evolved and developed than the other, and to bring it into balance. So we can all function. And you see, especially these days, many young guys out there. Jason Shurka is an example. Alex Zach is another example. All these guys who are pretty balanced, who have a very strong feminine attributes that they're allowing themselves to bring out. So it's possible. It takes work because we've been trained for so many generations to ignore that side of us the masculine and you the feminine. But we all have both.
Yeah,
it's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing that I wanted, one more thing that I wanted to respond to changing the world. Right? You talked about we are here to change the world. I don't agree with that. We cannot change the world. We can only change ourselves.
Right.
But by changing ourselves, everything around you will change.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
So then that statement is true. We can change the world if we change ourselves.
Yes, but that's not what we came here for. We didn't come to change the world. We came to do our own evolution work.
Yeah.
And as we do that, we change the world around us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
No, that's a good point. You got to take a step somewhere. Start step one.
Yeah. Inward. Awesome.
Step one. Mm-hmm.
You guys, I just wanted to say as we wrap up this, I think we're
and I'd like to say something.
Sure. Yeah.
Can I say one more thing before we wrap up?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was waiting for a moment to get in on that particular subject, the male and the female.
Okay.
I would have said for sure that there are male and female within all of us too. But the society we live in is highly masculine. So women sometimes they can be very masculine just because that's what fits in our society right now, currently. Things are changing. Yep. I think we are recognizing that there's both male and female inside of all of us. But, it's, I think, all about perspective. And it's really important to share with other people, whether they have the same exact views as us, whether they've been vaccinated or not, whether they're oriented as male, female, or something other than that. We need feedback from different perspectives, because opening our minds to view and experience of this world could shed some light and help grow. That I want to add to.
Could you say that again?
We
Shed
can't
some
isolate.
light.
That's the thing. I don't want to have some light on just basically how we can do better and evolve, because we are tending to currently isolate ourselves from people that do not believe the same things we believe or have a orientation. You know, we're separating. We keep separating and dividing, and that isn't helping us. As much as possible, it's necessary to try to find the common, whatever we have in common with people, to be able to join together. And that's one of the things about food, like back to food. Wow, that is definitely a commonality between humans and animals. We need support. We need that kind of support in order to survive. And you know, I'm hoping to bridge with people that may not. I mean, even my significant other was on a complete opposite end of the spectrum politically as me, but then somehow we met in the middle. My experience, because I was actually neither one way or the other, but I definitely wasn't where he was, and now we're actually in the middle as far as how we're seeing the world. We had this opportunity. We did not see eye to eye in the beginning, and we definitely do, because of the time and experience we've had, and then we've lived different lives, most of our lives apart, and we've lived completely different lives. I did a lot of traveling and he did not. So, but regardless, it's this feedback from other people with different experiences. I think that's really an important way to learn and grow and evolve.
Absolutely. I couldn't
That was what
agree
I
more with each of you.
want.
Brilliant. Spot on.
What a wonderful chat. This has been such a great chat. I mean, it's been so nice to meet you, Gertrude. It's been so interesting hearing about your stories. And Orit, you're just such a beautiful soul. I love that you bring spirituality into this chat. And guys, I just wanted to say, I mean, Mike and Joe, I just talk about having this as our first roll call and experimental trial. You guys are amazing. You guys are really, really good. I am so grateful to be walking alongside you. And Mike, I just wanted you to know that the way you treat me as a woman, like, I know that sounds a little bit funny, but you're the first real person that's given me a voice, you know, like, you've really honored my family doesn't do that, but you do.
Wow.
It's so
Wow.
nice. So nice. And I just want you to know that I really appreciate that. And Joe, you're the same. You know, you both are beautiful people to women. So
Appreciate
it's easy. You deserve it. You earned it. You've done a massive amount of research
I agree.
and hard work
Thank you
to
all
get here.
so much. I really appreciate
Each
all
of you.
Well, hopefully we'll all get together again.
Yeah. It's
Every
great to
Thursday,
see all
next
of
Thursday, we're starting at 5.
Yeah.
And then henceforth, we'll be doing every Thursday at 5 California time.
Yeah.
And
Exiting the
of course,
matrix. Sorry,
absolutely.
go on.
Got to start here. Yep.
Great.
Do it.
What-
Let's
every-
do
every
it.
Steps along the journey.
Yeah, Michael, well done for bringing this together. I love it. I love the theme. I think we always need to be talking about exiting the matrix. It's an everyday thing. I'm so proud of all of us, you guys. I really am so grateful. Very, very grateful. Full of love.
Let's also talk about how we bring more people into being interested in exiting the matrix.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More people are invited to these conversations, and even if you're on the path, come, because we want to hear what people are doing and how they're living in both realms. And
yeah, so how do we bring them in? Because I put it on Facebook, I put it on Telegram, I put it in, and so yeah.
I think I have some ideas, physical ideas, making phone calls. We could spend, a few hours just here on a chat, pick up phones and call people. And I just think we got to get back to physical, traditional contacting people because they've made it difficult. They're taking away algorithms, taking away reach. We know that.
I actually have a group on Telegram called Truth Diggers. Mm-hmm. And I'm in contact with most of the people there. Mm-hmm. So no, we don't talk on the phone a lot. We're all busy people, but we communicate in that group. Mm-hmm. And that's where one of the places that I put the invitation for tonight. So, and I know at least a couple of the people are interested in learning.
Yeah.
We will be making better promotional materials, ever more succinct and targeted.
Great.
Now that we've got a little team building here of people like Joe and Sheena that are savvy with simplifying and targeting the message and editing little videos and making a jingle. Joe and I are going to talk about creating a jingle, etc.
Yeah, some music.
Yeah. The good thing, it's every week. So you just anytime you see someone, just come this week. So we're gonna get into the mood, the flow of this, and it's gonna feel good.
Yeah.
So this one will be Thursdays. And then, but I like this idea of contacting these food co-ops because these are people that are doing food. So that should be part of our next mission based on this podcast, because it seems like food, we started off with food, went through the whole how food is so intertwined in our everyday life. So it only makes sense to start really making better outreach to those food producers.
Yep.
And a nice concise press release and communicating with influencers that we're already connected to and really simplifying the message so they understand what our intentions are and how we can all help each other.
Sounds good.
Great. Well, Michael, guys, Joe, Michael, Arit, Gertrude, thank you again for joining us, and to the audience. It's been a wonderful, wonderful 2 hours. Michael, do you want to say anything else as we wrap up?
Thank you, Captain Sheena. We're on your boat. Happy to row whenever apropos.
Oh man, you guys, on that note, I'm going to give you all a big, big, big hug.
Thank you very much.
Until next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Goodbye.
Okay. Ciao for now.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Good show.
Onward and upward.
We're still live on my network, and I got some one of my songs playing right now.
Beautiful.
And but I appreciate everything. And if you want to talk, we can have another conversation before bed tonight and see if there's something else we want to talk about tonight.
Yeah, give me a ring. Send me some jingle stuff. You got to pull your jingle stuff together.
Okay, let's talk about it.
But yeah, give me a call.
Okay, buddy.
Signing out.
See you later. Bye-bye.